What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel, Fire Mag Adventures Unplugged. Another home vlog for you today. I've been doing a lot of housework. It's kind of catching up on everything. I'm not sure what it is, but some people might think I'm out of my mind. But I really enjoy doing yard work and landscaping and that. I'm not sure. I love putting my earbuds in and just listening to a podcast. Or during the fall, I love listening to football when I'm out there working. Sundays, usually right now it's in the spring, early summer, listen to a little bit of NASCAR or some baseball. It's kind of time to be at peace. And I think also of things to talk about when I'm not in the parks, and one thing that came to mind was the sheer amount of vlogs and social media attention that Epic Universe is getting right now. It's no secret, as I put out there a couple weeks ago, that Epic Universe is a secret no more. Just about every Tom, Dick, and Harry on this planet has posted an Epic Universe vlog. Detailed videos of each and every land, all the secrets, everything you need to know, all the food, all the locations, all the restaurants, all the best places, how to do early entry, how to ride every single ride in a day, how to do this, how to do that. It's been done, and the park's not even officially open yet. And this was one thing I was wondering about when they opened Epic for previews, which I'm glad they did, because just from my observation, they still have a lot to work out. I mean, this is a brand new park. So you definitely need these. If anybody remembers, Volcano Bay did not do any type of previews. I think they did a media preview, but it was very short and very sweet and to the point, and that was it. There were no pass holder previews, no special preview days, no nothing. The park opened up, and guess what? Anybody that was there or was in this area and went within the first few days of Volcano Bay opening, it was an unmitigated disaster. You can even go. Tim Tracker has a vlog on Volcano Bay. You have to go back a couple years, but if you type in Tim Tracker first day at Volcano Bay or whatever it is, there's a segment on there where he sits down at one of the tables. He's getting ready to eat lunch or something. He looks right at the camera. He goes, "It's a rough day here at Volcano Bay." And a lot of vloggers said the same thing. I wasn't vlogging at that point. I wish I was, because it was a moment in time that I know I'll never forget. And actually, I've mentioned it before, but that experience, being there on opening day, was what solidified it in my mind that I will never do another theme park opening day for anything ever again, especially a brand new park like Epic Universe. Because it was a rough day, and Universal, throughout those first few days and even the first few months, issued a ton of refunds because the park really wasn't quite ready yet. I mean, there was still active construction going on when everybody was there. I mean, the wood on the staircases that took you up to the water slide was still raw, meaning it hadn't been treated and it hadn't been covered. So people were getting splinters, and I mean, it was bad. And there was even a section of the park where guests and team members were reporting their feet were tingling on the concrete, and come to find out there was a live wire down somewhere on the ground, and it was, putting energy through that area. So they had to close that area off. And if you would walk in certain areas, you'd hear power saws running and nail guns, putting nails into wood. It was about another month and a half, 2 months before Volcano Bay was officially complete. And I mean, I'm not saying this to be negative. It's just, sometimes these things do happen. I'm sure with these theme parks, there's a lot of effort that needs to go into these opening days. And really, when you set that opening day, you can't really take it back, especially when you've issued all the media passes, and you've got, like, that day they had Good Morning America was out there. I mean, it was a big deal. And so, I'm sorry, not Good Morning America. The Today Show was out there, and it was a big deal. I mean, Volcano Bay was a big deal for it to be on opening day, and they had this really elaborate celebration in the morning to kick off the brand new park and officially open it. But yeah, the park wasn't ready yet. And Epic Universe is a little bit of a different situation. However, it's going to be rough on those first few days, first few weeks, first few months. I got to go last week. I didn't bring a camera with me. I didn't do anything. In fact, I did that on purpose because unlike all these other people that are out there filming every corner of this park, this is not a traveling carnival. You know, they're not gonna pack up shop here in another month and leave town and go set up somewhere else. Epic Universe is going to be here for decades upon decades upon decades. So I am going to do a Universal Epic Universe vlog, but I'm going to do it in my own time. And I just don't see the need to rush it out there because, like everything else, there's thousands, probably tens of thousands of vlogs now about Epic Universe. And it's going to, I'm afraid it's going to get washed up in the cycle. I could do the best Epic Universe vlog out there, and it's going to get filtered in with all the rest of them. So my theory is let this, kind of ease off a little bit, and then I'll go out and do one. And just my observations of being there, I've seen things, get with the designer eye here. I've seen things out there that nobody has talked about yet, like especially the subtle features in Celestial Park and even inside of the many lands out there, the extreme detail that Epic Universe went to, or that Universal went to for Epic Universe. So when I do one, I promise you it'll be really, really good, and it'll be a special treat for everybody, and I hope it does well because I just don't want it to get washed up in all of the sea of mediocrity out there because, let's face it, the big channels, obviously, they're going to get seen because they're in the algorithm. Some of the upcoming channels, they still have a piece of the algorithm. All the channels with under 1,000 subscribers, we got to work hard to get what we get. So I really want to do well with this. But what I wanted to talk about is because of the coverage that's out there so far with Epic Universe, are they setting it up for unrealistic expectations when this park opens? Because right now, I just happened to see one, the crew from allears.net or whatever it is, or the All Ears YouTube channel. I mean, they got a big channel, but they're out there, showing people how to ride every single ride in one day. And a bunch of others are out there doing it too, or how to eat at every restaurant in one day, or how to eat at every restaurant and ride every single ride in one day, and how to, do a handstand and walk through the entire park, and then do a swan dive into the big fountain at the near the Helios Grand. That part I'm kidding, but don't do that unless you want to be banned for life. I always said you can always do anything one time at a theme park. Might not get to do it again, but you at least get one time to do it. Just a little perspective. But everybody's an expert now in Epic Universe, and the park's not even open yet. And what's happening is I'm reading the comments on some of these videos and vlogs, and they're like, oh, thanks for the advice. I plan to use this. We're going to go after opening day, which a lot of people are. A lot of people bought tickets from May 22nd and beyond because we knew that there was going to be a preview period, but weren't sure when. So when Universal brought this out, it kind of took a lot of people by surprise. Now, a lot of local people did buy tickets, and then people that are visiting and that were staying at Epic Universe, if they were pass holders or staying at hotels, they were able to buy tickets. Now Universal's opened it up to everybody. So anybody that wants an Epic Universe ticket can have one. And I think they're doing that because tickets are slowing down. The day I was there was a fantastic day. Lines weren't that long. It was great. Got to do pretty much everything except fire drill. But it's okay though. I want to go back and experience new things. I also didn't get to do the shows. And yes, that was without Express Pass. However, again, everybody's out there, being a all-knowing guru of Epic Universe. But what people are forgetting is these are still the preview periods. We're not even into opening day yet. They are running with what we estimate somewhere between 4,000 up to 10,000, and now supposedly they're going to go 15 to 20,000 guests. Not really sure what the max capacity is. I've heard people talk 40,000, but then I asked an officer from the Florida Highway Patrol division over there that works in the division by Epic Universe where their station is. They have a station within about 5 minutes of Epic. Or he told me that their leadership told them, because they're going to bring everybody in to work opening day, because it's going to be chaos out there. The officer I talked to was told that they were expecting 90,000 people, which, I mean, is it possible? Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a big park, not sure how accurate that is, but coming from Florida Highway Patrol, I'm going to kind of lean more towards possibly. And I got a chance to speak with this officer when I was at work, and I had my uniform on, and I had my Epic Universe pin on because I like to wear my pins. It's a good conversation piece, when people are in the ER. It gives them something else to think about or talk about when I'm starting IVs and doing other things with patients. But he saw my pin. He goes, "Have you been to Epic Universe?" And at that time, I said I hadn't, but I plan on going soon. And we got to talking, and I asked him, I said, "Do you guys..." Or when I found out that he worked in that area, that's where he was stationed at. And I said, "Do you guys have any idea what the max capacity is for Epic Universe or what they're expecting, especially on that opening day?" And that's when he told me, he says, "We've been told they're expecting 90,000 people." Now, I don't know if that's Epic Universe as a whole or if that means the Helios Grand Hotel plus Terra Luna and Stella Nova combined. If that's the amount of people that are going to be in that area proper, or that's how many people are expected to descend into Epic Universe. So right now, the crowds are very minimal. But having been there, and the one thing that nobody's really pointing out is the size of these ride queues. I mean, these ride queues are enormous. Some of these ride queues make Avatar Flight of Passage look small, or even the Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure Ride. These queues make those look tiny, if that gives you an idea. Same thing with Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. That's a big queue, but it looks small compared to some of these rides that are out there. Monsters Unchained is unbelievable how big that queue is. I mean, you go down there and you look at the switchbacks and oh my gosh, it's almost nausea-inducing when you look at it. Donkey Kong Minecart Madness is another one that's got an enormous queue. Hiccups Wing Gliders, gigantic queue, which half of it is not under any type of shaded covered shade. It's out in the open. What the heck is it? The Dragon Racers Rally, the one where you can try to flip yourself upside down that goes around in the circle. That one's got a big queue. What else? Oh, the Ministry of Magic. That queue apparently is able to hold 7 hours of people. So just use your imagination on how gigantic that one is. And what else is out there? Oh, Super Nintendo World, Mario Kart, Bowser's Challenge, is another one that just is unbelievably big, and it goes on multiple levels. So, looking at these queues and all that, I mean, 90,000 doesn't seem too far out of reach, when you see that. The other thing is everybody's talking about how getting there first thing in the morning is the best way. Do the rope drop. You need to rope drop this, rope drop that. If you're staying at a hotel, you get in an hour early. Folks, I'm here to tell you, I've been following these wait times, and I was there a half hour before rope drop. So I got there at 10:30, and the hotel guests were already being let in. All the wait times so far that I've been following have been super high first thing in the morning because everybody's got the same idea. Oh, we're going to rope drop. We're going to get on all the rides real quick before the crowds get there. Everybody rope drops now, folks. This is nothing. This is not the secret little gem that it used to be. Social media and everything has absolutely destroyed the novelty of rope dropping. It is absolutely not worth it. You might as well just get some rest and sleep in and enjoy your Epic Universe day later on in the afternoon as people get tired and burn out and they start leaving. Because I've noticed that the wait times go down significantly as you get past 4 and 5 o'clock. Now, with some of these attractions, the wait times actually go up when it gets dark because Epic Universe, as I like to say, it shines at night. They designed that theme park for night. Just like Avatar Flight of Passage, just like the Avatar Land at Animal Kingdom in Disney World, that particular land was designed to be viewed at nighttime. it's fun during the day, but it shines at night. And it's sad now that Disney completely screwed up the hours for Animal Kingdom, and you only get to really experience Avatar, the Avatar land at night for a few months out of the year when the sun goes down at 5 p.m. You know, all this work and all this technology put into that land with the bioluminescence and everything else, and you only get to enjoy it like 4 or 5 months out of the whole year. Because Animal Kingdom, apparently they don't want to keep it open past 6 or 7 p.m. Sometimes if it's insanely busy, you might be lucky and get an 8 p.m. close, but for the most part, it's 6 or 7, which sucks. You know, in Epic Universe, they announced, at least in the early on, that the park's going to stay open till 9 p.m., which that kind of got people seriously irritated because all that everybody's been talking about during this preview phase is how wonderful Epic Universe is and how beautiful it is at nighttime. And by the time the park opens later in May, you know, we're getting closer to about a month away right now, about a month and 20 some days away from the longest day of the year, which down here, the sun won't start to set till like 9, quarter after 9. So you're not going to be able to enjoy Epic Universe as it's intended at night if they're going to close the park at 9. Now, there could be reasons behind that. They might not be ready for their nighttime shows yet, which apparently they are going to have them with the fireworks and everything. So maybe they need to work that out. But I really, really hope that Epic Universe, you know, gets rid of that early closing, you know, shortly after opening, because people want to see that park at night. I mean, it's all over social media about how beautiful Epic is at night. In fact, when I go there the next time, I'll bring my camera and we'll definitely do a nighttime vlog from there because it's gorgeous. The way that those fountains light up and there's lights in the pavement. There's lights everywhere. I mean, Celestial Park is truly stunning. And then you take each and every one of those lands at night, they shine in their own unique ways. So it is definitely designed to be seen at night. So hopefully Universal will get off this 9 p.m. closing thing at some point and keep it open until 10, 11, maybe even midnight. That would be best. But moving forward, you know, the thing that I'm noticing now is that there's this, and this is what kind of worried me with all of these previews and these low capacities. You know, everybody right now has gotten used to being at Epic Universe with relatively low crowds. The weekends have been pretty insane, but to me, the weekends are kind of a preview of what the park's going to be like when it's officially open. From what I understand is that pass holder tickets now are kind of lagging because everybody went and been there, done that, got that t-shirt already. And so they've gotten the Epic out of their system. And also, you know, Epic's not part of the annual pass program. So every time you go, you're going to be paying somewhere between $118 and $150, $160. You don't have to do much math to understand that's going to get very expensive the more times you go. So I think a lot of people got it out of their system, and they're going to wait till, you know, at some point when Epic gets added to the annual pass system. Personally, looking at the calendars, obviously from May 22nd onward for the few weeks, Epic is completely sold out those days. But as you get into later part of June, that every day is available. All of July is available, all of August is available, and so on and so forth. So I'm not sure if that's a sign of the times, if the economy's slowing down or what, but you would expect that a brand new theme park, you know, you'd expect a couple months, first few months of every day being sold out, and it's not. So we'll see. We'll see on that one. But honestly, though, you look around and, I mean, things are rough right now with layoffs and it's so insanely expensive, and people just are, you know, in a ton of debt. And at some point, you can't keep just putting yourself more and more in debt. You got to pay all that off. And I think everybody went on this insane ride after the events of 2020. One, because they were flush with cash with all of these handouts that they were getting. And then two, credit was super easy to obtain. And then you had the introduction of Affirm, Afterpay, Klarna. It goes on and on and on. And people were just pay planning everything. Well, that catches up, man. And now with the student loan thing coming in, that people that haven't paid their student loans, they will be sent to collections, and then, you know, they want to, you know, looking at garnishing people's wages. And I know there's a bunch of people out there, these so-called experts on TikTok, YouTube, and all that, going, "Oh, come take my money. I don't have enough money." Folks, you don't want to play that game, man. They will come and get it. And they say, "Well, I'll just go to another job." Well, they'll take it from that job. It's pay now or pay later, and so that's definitely going to be impacting a lot of people. So we'll see where this goes, but I think that around the middle of summer, middle summer, later July, I think you're going to see Epic Universe get added to the annual pass, because especially if attendance drops, because annual pass holders, whether you live here or you live anywhere around the world, anytime you visit Universal, annual pass holders bolster the attendance, especially the locals. And if they start seeing a couple of months or even a couple of weeks of steady declines, I think they're going to add that to the annual pass. Now, I don't think it'll be on every annual pass. I think they'll throw it on the Premier and maybe the Preferred, possibly, and then make that a special as part of those passes. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that, but I think that's what is going to happen. We'll have to wait and see, because people keep saying, oh, they're not going to add Epic Universe for another year or 2 years. I don't think it's going to be that long. I think it's going to be a whole lot shorter. And I hope they do, because after being there once, I even had my thought was, I love it here. This is a beautiful park. I want to come here a lot, but I'm not going to spend $130, $140 a time to come to the park. You make 5 visits, you're almost $1,000, with tax. So I got to kind of, strategize this. Because after this next visit will probably that'll be it for a while for me, until they add it to the, annual pass, or maybe they come up with a deal later on, Plus, I'm probably going to wait to go till the end of the summer, early fall. Because the other thing I want to talk about, and this was my observation as well, the rides are still in technical rehearsal, and every day they're still having some problems with these rides. And it's nothing wrong with the rides. It's just these are brand spanking new rides. It's one of the first times with heavier guest flow, and I think that's why Epic Universe or Universal added the fact that anybody can buy a ticket now, because I think they're wanting to bolster that attendance so they can start getting these rides some more ridership. Because, like I said, the wait times have been relatively low lately, especially during the week. I know when I was there last week, longest wait was for Minecart Madness. And that one ended up breaking down, which it has broken down quite a bit. It's just there's a lot of issues with it as far as the adjustment of it. And I think they're even still having some issues with the one out in Japan as well, at the Universal out there. But, I mean, it's a cool ride, but it breaks down a lot. And so I was in line and decided to wait to see if it would come back online. Well, after about 45 minutes, it didn't, and they had to empty the queue out. Well, I was, up near the loading platform, so they gave everybody up there this, they call it the golden ticket, the Epic Universe golden ticket, which got you onto any ride you wanted to go on, including the Ministry of Magic. So I used that to my advantage, and the Ministry of Magic was down pretty much all day, but later at night when it opened up, I didn't have to worry about scrambling for a virtual queue. I used that ticket and was able to ride the Ministry of Magic, which that ride is insane. That's really good. We'll talk about that in another vlog, because I could spend 20 minutes talking about that ride. I mean, it's amazing. But the queue of that ride, even with an express ticket, was insanely long. I mean, I still waited almost 25, 30 minutes before getting on that ride with an express pass. So if that gives you any idea the size of the queue of that thing, I mean, it's going to be a long wait on opening day. And they're still having issues with, how many people can ride in a car, because the cars are faulting or the elevators are faulting. They can only run so many on the track layout, but they're supposed to run a whole bunch. It's just, again, it's a new ride. It's a new computer system. It's a whole new everything. And there's a lot of adjustments that have to be made. So my guess is the Ministry of Magic probably won't be fully operational for about 8 months to a year. Is just putting that out there. I mean, look at Hagrid's. Hagrid's took almost a year to perfect. I mean, now it runs pretty much flawlessly. Same with Velocicoaster. Velocicoaster's had its issues when it was brand new. So these things are to be expected. And the thing is everybody that's out there now, we got all these all-knowing gurus with all their information out there that they're selling to everybody. People are going to show up to the first few days, especially opening day, armed with all this knowledge that they gotten from YouTube and TikTok and everywhere else, going, I'm going to have the best day ever at Epic. And it's going to be like Mike Tyson's quote, everybody's going to have a plan till you get punched in the face. I'm telling you, folks, the crowds out there that day are going to be astronomical. And that's assuming, that there are no issues with the ticketing systems or anything else. They're still having trouble with the mobile order apps at some of the restaurants. The other issue is they're still having to figure out how to staff Epic Universe. Universal's still trying to hire a bunch of people to upstaff the park. And that could also be a reason why they have to close it a little early, is they just don't have the staff. You can't work. I mean, you could, but it's not good. You don't want to be working people 14, 16 hours a day, so you really need to have split shifts, because Universal has 8-hour shifts pretty much for everybody, whatever you do. Culinary, I guess I heard, works 10 hours, but for the most part, everybody else in the park works 8-hour shifts. So you got to try to balance that out, and that requires an army of team members to do that. So I know they're trying to hire and fast, but that could be another reason why, they're not staying open as late. And, just with attractions not opening on time, I mean, you have to have a certain amount of team members for each attraction for it to open safely. Otherwise, it can't open. I know Disney's been having that issue too. They say they're having ride downtime in the morning, but I think what's happening is they don't have enough cast members there to fully open the ride. They got to wait for people to get there, which, is what it is. But people are selling Epic Universe right now as, here's how to do everything in one day. And it's not going to be like that after the park opens. I hate to break it to everybody, but already Epic Universe is a 2 to 3 day park already. And that's with lower wait times. I mean, the longest I waited, like I said, was the Minecart Madness ride. That first one was around, I think, 60 minutes, and then it broke down. And the second time I waited, it had a 90-minute listed time, but I think it still waited late at night. I got in line after, right before the park closed, and waited about an hour to get on. So, that's with lesser crowds. You start getting more and more and more crowds in there, you're not going to be able to do everything. And, I didn't get to do everything. I didn't get to ride Fire Drill. Didn't get to see any of the shows. Didn't get to, got to eat at Pizza Moon, which was really good. Pizza Moon was spectacular. And also the macaroni and cheese cones are really good. But that was it. But, you got all these people going, here's how to eat at every restaurant one day. First off, that's stupid. There's no, you want to walk through the park with a gut ache and puking your guts out everywhere. Go ahead, eat at every restaurant in a day. But I don't know how some of these YouTubers do that crap, man. Unless they got cast iron stomachs, I have no idea how they do that. It's almost nauseating. I know it gets a ton of views. It really does. Like, you look at some of these food vlogs from these theme parks, they get so many views, but it's so not good for you either. My goodness. But there's a ton of advice on what to do with Epic Universe. And again, I feel like it's going to set the wrong stage for the park, because people are going to get absolutely walloped on that first day. The other thing I had heard from the officer I talked to was that Universal's planning on opening up the ticket booth so people can start parking it somewhere. He said somewhere between 2:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning. What are people going to do? Because they're trying to figure out how to upstaff for this. Basically, it sounds like they're going to recall a lot of officers in that day, because they're going to want everybody on duty. And, they've been asking Universal for some help, too, about how they would like them to handle the parking lots and that, because people are going to start showing up there early, because everybody's got to be the first this, first that, as we've noticed from everything else. First person to stay in a hotel room, first person to step foot on the tile, first person to take a crap in the toilets at the hotels, first person to shove their face full of food. I mean, everybody's all about the first. And so people are going to want to be the first person in Epic Universe. It's social media. And so he's like, what are we going to do with all these people if they start parking at 3 o'clock in the morning? I mean, what resources do we have for them? We're going to have, porta potties out there. What are we going to do with these people? Because the park's not going to open until 9, or actually even 10. So that's almost 7 hours. And, where are they going to line up? When can they line up? There's a lot of things they're still trying to work out. But my best advice for all of you going on that first day, first week, first month even, please pack your patience and temper your expectations. Because if you go around looking at some of these vlogs of some of these influencers around here, with they're all knowing about how to do Epic Universe in a single day and how to hit this, that, and the other, you got to remember they're doing that with roughly somewhere between 4,000 and 10,000 guests. Again, that's a far cry from the 90,000 that I've heard are expected, or even 40,000. I've heard 40,000 as well. That's still that's an insane amount of people that compared to what's in there now. And I'm telling you, I would not waste your time with the early morning rope drops. I would wait till later on in the day and then go and enjoy it, because the wait times do tend to fade a little bit later on in the day. Now, first few days, first few weeks, it might not matter. It might be jam-packed every day. But I really think once this park gets settled in and things start to even out, I think you're going to have, like most parks, you're going to have an extreme surge in the morning, and then as the day goes on, the wait times are going to start to go down a little bit. And then it'll be, as you get into the last few hours of the night before the park closes, you'll probably be able to do quite a bit. So again, I'd do a split day. I'd get up in the morning, go see what you can do before 11 or 12 o'clock in the morning, and then take a break and come back around 5 or 6. And it also appears that when it rains, because it did pour rain the other day for the first day in like months, and obviously Epic does have a good amount of outdoor attractions. So once it rains and there's lightning in the area, all those rides have got to shut down. And apparently some of the indoor rides have had to shut down because you got to think, a lot of these rides run on Wi-Fi. There's a lot of, electrical equipment, a lot of computerized equipment. For some reason, I guess a bunch of them shut down when there was lightning in the area. So there's all these things to think about. So you're definitely going to have, Epic's going to open in time for the summer, but you're going to have the summer weather impacting a lot of this as well. And people are bitching because, it's so hot, there's no trees. People, just toughen up a little bit. Seriously, toughen up. It's going to be hot. This is a brand new theme park. No, you're not going to have gigantic trees. Give it about 3 or 4 years, and once these trees grow, it's going to be really nice. That Celestial Park in about 3 or 4 years is going to be absolutely amazing with all of the shade and everything that's going to be out there. But it takes time, but people are bitching already. There's too much open space. It's going to be hotter than all get out. Yes, it will be. But you got to learn to take it easy. Again, don't try to do everything in a day. Don't listen to these people out there on social media telling you how to do everything in a day, because I'm telling you, you can't do it. Even with an express pass, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because, again, some of these rides where those merge points are at, where express meets standby, you still have got a long way to go before you get to the ride. Some of them, you still have a couple rooms of queuing left. Then you got 1 or 2 pre-shows, and then you get to the ride platform. So it's not like you just walk in and get on the ride. It really proved a point during media previews when Universal gifted these media influencers, these YouTube and Facebook and everybody else, TikTok theme park influencers. They gifted them all with VIP tour, and they couldn't even get everything done with a VIP tour in one day. Now, granted, I think the park closed at 7 that day, but still, they were in the park for a good, I think it was 7 or 8 hours, and they still couldn't do everything. And a lot of them did say this park is going to be next to impossible to do everything in a day. And having been there, even though the crowds were low, I still couldn't get everything done in a day. So you're going to need a couple days to enjoy Epic Universe, which is good because that's what you want. You don't want to just blaze through everything and then be done and on to the next. Take some time and enjoy it and look around. I mean, I'm telling you, that Celestial Park is amazing. It is just so well done with the fountains and how it leads your eye through the park. And then, the Ilios is the backdrop. And then you can see the big fountain in the back. And when the big fountain has its show, all the other little fountains interact with it. So it's like a full park show. And then at night, all the lighting and everything interacts with each other. The Frankenstein's Manor I thought was cool because at night, the same thing. There's these like 2 columns up there, and it looks like there's electricity that flows into what looks like a clock or something. And every like 15 or 20 minutes, the castle is like this real loud rumble, and like these zapping sounds start to occur, and it's like the castle's like pulling all of the energy from the Darkmoor Village, and when it does that, all of the lights start to dim, and then they come up, and then they dim again. It's a really neat effect, which again, this park is meant to be enjoyed at night. And then you have the Burning Blade Tavern, which when that windmill bursts into flames, that's a whole nother effect that I think is one of the neatest things ever. That's a theme park effect that is probably, if they gave golden ticket awards out for that, that would win year after year because it's just so well done. And the same thing with the Darkmoor Village that I pointed out is in a couple years, once all these trees grow, it already looks amazing, but it's going to really give it a really cool, spooky vibe. So Epic is a really cool park, and I definitely want to go back more, but again, it's expensive right now, so gotta, go sparingly, but so hopefully they'll add it to an annual pass soon. But I just wanted to get this message out there for people. Tamper your expectations a little bit. Take with a grain of salt everything you're seeing on social media, because, again, these people right now, including myself, we're experiencing the park with 4,000 to 10,000 guests on average. And that, again, is a far cry from the 40 or 90,000 guests that are expected for opening day and beyond. I think in time, in the next couple of months after it opens, it'll probably balance out at somewhere between probably 30 and 40,000 guests a day. But again, I'm not sure the accuracy of that 90,000, but again, that was from Florida Highway Patrol. Well, take it what you will. If you're going to be there on opening day, I'm telling you, to save yourself the biggest headache is go in the later afternoon, because would it be cool to be one of the first few people to walk in there? But guess what? It's been done. A lot of people have been in that park. The only difference is you're going to be in there on the official opening day, and that's it. And I'm sure they're going to have a really grand opening ceremony. I have no doubt. Universal usually does it pretty well with these grand openings. But it's been done. A lot of people have been in this park already. So honestly, I wouldn't go killing yourself just to be one of the first people in there, because again, that first day is going to be long for a lot of people. And I can already see the bitching and moaning that's going to come up on social media. Well, I only got like 2 rides in. It was too many people. And, well, yes. What did you expect? This is a brand new theme park. First one in this area in over 25 years. So yes, there's going to be a lot of people there. And again, I just think so many people are going to have the wrong idea about this. I think they're seeing everything now and they're like, oh, it's going to be wonderful when I get in there. There's going to be nobody there. Or they're thinking that what they're seeing now is what normal capacity is like, and it's not anywhere close. So we'll see in the coming days how this all plays out, with the addition of the fact that anybody now can buy a ticket. We'll see how that works. And then I'll keep an eye on the times, and we'll see if anything changes. But I'm telling you, some of those rides can have some long times. Like today, Minecart Madness had a 120-minute wait. The Mario Kart ride, same thing. That one can get into the 90 to 100-minute range. Frankenstein's Castle does pretty well. Stardust Racers today at certain times was 45 to 50 minutes. So the wait times are growing. But the last thing I'm going to talk about, and this is what I think is going to contribute to some longer wait times when the park is almost full to capacity of guests, is while Epic Universe built some amazing attractions, the one glaring thing that stood out was these rides, while they're incredible, they're very low capacity, slow moving rides. And I think that is going to cause a lot of issues when the park is jam packed. Even if you have Express Pass, it's just very slow moving. Minecart Madness especially. Those minecarts only seat 4 people at a time, and they move on a conveyor belt across the loading platform, similar to how Hagrid's is. But Hagrid's is an entire train full of guests. This is only 4 guests per cart, and it moves slow. And again, it's had multiple breakdowns because they're learning how to fine tune this ride. The other one is the Mario Kart ride. Fun ride. It's really fun. I wouldn't wait an hour for it. I can tell you that. I would wait 30 minutes tops for it. But because it's just fun, but it's not. If you like the Mario Kart games, I think you're really going to appreciate this ride. because it's got a combination of like the augmented virtual reality combined with physical sets. It's very well done, but again, it's a slow moving ride that gives you the impression of going fast at certain times because the augmented reality. If you took the augmented reality glasses off, you'd just be like, oh, you're just cruising through a dark ride, nice and easy. Which you can do that. You can absolutely ride that ride without the glasses. But again, it's slow moving. It only loads four guests per cart, per Mario Kart go-kart, and it's slow. The other one is the Dragon Racers Rally, because it's not like a roller coaster where you can be loading in other trains when the other ones are out on the track. Dragon Racers Rally is you can only load the guests that are on there, and then you got to wait for it to stop before they offload and load new guests on there. So that's another one that's very slow loading. Frankenstein's Manor, when it's running correctly, it's very efficient because you have 4 guests per seat, but it's like the Forbidden Journey where it's on a continuously moving platform as it goes through the load and unload station, and then it heads out into the dark ride portion of it. So that one moves pretty well. Stardust Racers, again, that's the same one. If that one's functioning at full capacity, that's another high capacity ride. Curse of the Werewolf is decent. That one's another one that, it's got average capacity, but some of the more popular rides, though, like I'm telling you, the Wizarding World, at least for right now, the Ministry of Magic, is going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with if they're going to just open it up and take it off virtual queue. I don't think they will. I think it's going to stay on virtual queue for a while because they still can't run this ride with all the ride vehicles in place and completely full cars. Because every time, when I was there, I'd see a couple of these ride elevators or the elevator ride vehicles going by, and they had, half the seats were marked, do not sit here. So I'm guessing they're still having trouble filling the ride vehicles and then the sensors and running multiple vehicles on the same track. So there's a lot to work out in there. Hiccup's Wing Gliders, the coaster in Isle of Burke, is an awesome roller coaster. In fact, that's one of my more favorite rides of Epic Universe. I love Stardust Racers. Don't get me wrong. That I've done both tracks. I don't know what people are talking about with green being the most aggressive. I thought it was yellow. Yellow was insane. I don't know what these people are talking about. Green is great, but yellow, man, holy moly. Yellow just seems so much more aggressive. I don't know if anybody agrees with me on that. But back to Hiccup's Wing Gliders, it's a fun ride. But again, it's kind of a lower capacity. Now, I did like how they did it where the track splits in the ride station, so you can load 2 trains at once, and then the track flips back and forth as they move out of the station and onto the main circuit. But still, that queue for Hiccup's Wing Gliders is enormous. My goodness. And again, when I get to go back, everybody knows what the rides look like. I mean, they're everywhere. You've seen the rides all over, but nobody has really featured the queues. They've shown the cool part of the queues, but they've not shown like how big these queues are. And that's what I want to do because very few people, if any, have featured that. And I think it's good for people to know and see how gigantic these waiting queues are because they are big, huge. What else? We got to kind of talk about real quick before I wrap this up. I think that hit everything. Yeah, we got the Alabama. Fire Drill. Fire Drill is a cool little ride that I can't wait to ride. But again, it's a slower moving ride. It runs slow through the course track. You do get absolutely soaked on it if you hit the right targets, which I think is fun. And, just from watching it off the ride. But again, that one can, people can stack up pretty quick with that one because it is a slower moving ride. So, and then you take into consideration that summertime and the summer storms, a lot of these rides are going to have to close down. So there's only going to be a couple of rides that'll be able to be open. I think they said 3 or 4 out of the total rides. So yeah, I mean, it can cause some long wait times. The shows, again, I haven't seen the shows, but apparently they're next level and amazing. So when I go back, I'd like to try to see some of the shows as well. And then again, the restaurants, again, a lot of them are on mobile ordering, so just keep that in mind. Some of the fancier sit-down restaurants like the Atlantic and that, and then the Blue Dragon. It's been hit or miss if they've been serving people, so I don't think we'll see consistent operation out of those until the park actually opens. So again, just what I would do is take the attractions and the shows, the shops you want to see, and then the dining areas that you'd like to try. Make a list of them, and then take that list and cut it in half, and then cut it in half again, and then take those lists and make it from the most important things you want to do, and then if you get those done, then move to the second one, then third, fourth, and onward. But don't try to do everything in a day. And again, I know I said it before, I'm going to say it one more time. Whatever you see on social media, take it with a grain of salt, because I'm telling you, it's going to be a whole different experience on that first day and the first few weeks to first few months. But that's it. That's my take on Epic Universe. Hope it helped everybody. If you're going, have a good time. Take it easy. Go nice and easy and have fun. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening to me ramble for the last 46 minutes, but hopefully I got you some good information. Because right now everybody's just talking about this, that, and the other, and well, we're doing this, but nobody's really sat down and said, are these videos out there right now setting this place up for a complete letdown with guests who haven't been there yet and aren't going to go till day one or after that? So it's yet to be seen. All right, this has been The Truth. It's been actual, and I hope for all you watching out there, it was mighty Epic Universe Satisfactual. I'll see you, everybody.